as we move on now, I've changed the colours slightly. I've kept the edge loops slightly a different colour. I've gone more to just really for aesthetics while I'm modelling. I've just changed them to a more what's the right word? A more compatible set of colours. So one shade and tone really. All the browns and reds. Doesn't actually matter how you group the colours like that. This is really just for it's just a pleasing way to model. And I've given if you look at the eyeballs, I've just given the polygons certain colour sets. Again, it just helps you to make the model look a little bit more like the end result really. There'd be no material work done in silo at all, or in this particular instance, but it's just the way I've adopted modelling over the years. So go back to flat mode from smooth mode, like so. First thing I'm going to do is quickly model some teeth, maybe temporary teeth, but this is how I would generate some teeth. So first thing that I would do is put a cube back in, exactly the same way that we started the process. I just mirror it across. I use instance mirror, and I'll give it a material called gum, and then just extrude out sideways and revolve it slightly. Same again, revolve again, and then back, and back again. As this particular one is was going to be the upper gum, but I'm going to do both at the same time. So I would run a split all the way down the bottom. Managed to duplicate it by mistake then. So run a split all the way down the bottom like so. I'd run one actually right along the end there, one underneath and one at the back, but I wouldn't worry too much about the centre. I'll just put one in the centre, make this a little bit higher, and then what I'm going to actually do is turn instance mirror off, mirror it across fully, and I'm just simply going to smooth it down like that. And you can see now that that's already just given you a gum shape to work with. In fact, I don't need the lower one because I'm quite comfortable with that as it stands. And we'll shape those. It's given us an upper and lower gum to work with. Just make sure with this program alternate that the symmetry's on, and then just slightly change the back gums, and then change the front to how they're going to be when they receive the teeth. Just a quick save that, and the same with the bottom. Obviously the lower bit is the bit that will dip into the gum, dip into the jaw. And the teeth will shape a little bit of how that becomes. Still very low poly, just to give us an idea. So I'll just make a few teeth. Just work on this left hand side. Start with a cube. Scale it down. This one's going to be one of the incisors. Keep going off to the side there by mistake. Lots of different ways to do this, really. And every package would have their own way of doing different extrudes and smooth shifts if you're in programs like Lightwave. Lots of different ways to get this kind of geometry. Just using a subdivide there just to have a look at what shape the tooth's like. Pretty much how I want it straight away, really. Just a sharp incisor, quite fat at the top. That'll do. So we'll use subdivide and refine for that one. You get a nice tooth shape there. I'll pop that one into roughly where it's going to be in the gum. Copy him down. Scale him to suit. Now, I don't want the mouth to be symmetrical, so I'm going to put these teeth in and put some variation in them. I want it to be quite a rough looking set of teeth. I'm giving it almost a feline set, so I'm going to give these canines, I called them incisors before, they're not the canines. I create another cube. And to make some incisors, I'm going to just shape them like a cube, really. One in the middle, one like so, like so. A sharp one on the front. And just give it a little bit forward. And then just smooth it and see. Yeah, that's fine. Soft selection. Just pull it down to the shape that you'd want. And pull it forward as a tooth would be. Not spending too much time on this, as you can see. It's just to get me the shapes to fit in the mouth. I can work around the modelling of the mouth once I've got something approximately how I like it for the teeth. There's 2, 3, 4. They're all slightly uneven, a little bit crossed over, which is exactly what I wanted. Keep giving it a bit of a save there. Copy them down. Make sure there's a nice lot of variation in these. You don't want it to look in any way repeated. I can repeat the ones that go further back into the head. I'm not too worried about these. I'll get them all roughly placed. This is how I normally do it. And then keep adding some variation in. Working around to the bigger molars at the back after these next few here. Be as accurate as you want in this. It is fantasy, so for me, not a really big important part of this particular project. Obviously, if you're going to do any work that involves really close-up shots, then you're going to have to go spend a bit of time researching the kind of mouth, kind of creature that you're working on, really. Again, I'm not actually spending too much time on each of these teeth. Just going to combine all those together. What you can do there is just mirror that across. You may find that the whole assembly is too wide, like I have just done like that, so just bring that in a bit. Subdivide it, smooth it, turn the wireframe off, and then you can have a look at it. And you see, you've got very quickly, you've got a nice set of teeth to work from, and you can now adjust the gums around it. If you feel there's an opportunity, then put more splits in. Just so as you can get the teeth sitting nicely into the flesh of the gum. Probably do for now for that one.